for those of y'all listening, all of us grew up in the same neighborhood together, and it was pretty much a stable black neighborhood, black/Caribbean, a little Latino neighborhood for years. And now gentrification has hit and changed everything, changed the whole game. So, where you used to have stable, fairly middle, class black families, and we all knew each other, now it's a whole new ball game. There's new folks moving in. Nobody knows each other. Nobody has any connection or allegiance to each other. It's all, new blood, and basically, we got a whole neighborhood change from, pretty much black. Well, when we were kids, it was Italian, but now, it didn't turn black, and it was stable for a long time. Now it's East Indian, Guyanese, Colombians, Central Americans, and some of everything. Yeah, Trinidad, yeah.
Punjabis,
so just, Punjabis, yeah. So, with the neighborhood that was stable for us as children growing up and allowed us to all be friends and be tight, that's gone.
I guess the other thing I got to worry about with folks, this homeless thing is no joke either. Folks.
Yeah.
I work on 42nd Street, and that whole block between 8th and 9th Avenue, the whole block over, you can't walk 50 feet without somebody begging. They're so good at it. If you turn your head and turn back again, they're standing right in front of you like magic. You got a dime? And they're so specific about how much money. Yeah, I see more of it now than well, the closest I've seen is at the subway. I haven't seen it in the neighborhood yet.
No, they're here in the neighborhood. Yeah.
And that's a sad thing when it's starting to move away from the city and into the outer boroughs. And now, you're not getting them. Like I said, I hate saying no.
They're begging on Liberty and the Van Wyck, both sides.
Yeah.
Atlantic in the Van Wyck, both sides. Jamaica in the Van Wyck. Linden in the Van Wyck. And the funny part is the Indians that's begging. A lot of Indians and a lot of white boys.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Well, heroin is taking root in the neighborhood. Yeah. Bad.
Well, I'll say one thing. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it. Doesn't mean, obviously you proved me wrong, but I haven't seen it. But I know that when I get on the bus in the morning, when I get off at the subway, boom, it starts there. And then the moment you get to 42nd Street, you can't forget about that block, 2 or 3 blocks. It's like, if you're a person coming from out of town, you're coming to the city for the first time, I think it's embarrassing. That's the first thing you start seeing. But homeless is everywhere. It's everywhere. And these shelters.
It's worse now. It probably is.
Yeah. Shelter. I mean, I know, friends that are homeless now, living out of the car. Yeah. And they would rather be in the car than be, in a shelter. And I can't argue with that.
Right.
But the problem is, as soon as something goes wrong with the car, they're panicking. Like, oh man, I need my car. You try to help. I mean, I know I tried to help, but I said after a while, if I keep doing it, you're going to drain every one of my resources. Because I'm, I need for me. I got to keep a roof over my head. But yeah, it's no joke out there. That's for sure, and I feel bad about that.
You know what they're doing? A lot of the hotels in the neighborhood, they got homeless people living in there, and they don't even tell the people that's actually renting out the room that they got homeless people on the upper floor. That's not right.
Right.
No, it's not.
The La Quinta over there on, the La Quinta on Van Wyck between 111th and Linden, they changed it to another name. That's a welfare shelter now.
Yeah.
You see all the shelter people hanging out in Lincoln Park because a lot of shelters, if you're not working, you can't stay in there until after 3 o'clock.
Wait a minute. So, it's one of those kind of shelters. Oh, you be working. That's what that is. I get it.
It's like the one that's over there on Bedford and Atlantic. They put them out at 7 in the morning. You can't come back in until 3.
That's why they're always out on Suffolk Boulevard. Okay. All right.
Yeah, because they figure if you ain't working, you ain't going to lay up in here all day.
Yeah, it's gotten kind of crazy in the neighborhood again. Yeah.
Let me tell you the funnies about the shelters in Queens. When the people come to the shelters in Queens, they act like they moved up to the Upper East Side because now they're not in a Harlem or Bronx.
Yeah.
or a man, or a Brooklyn shelter. And I'm like, you still in the shelter?
But there's different type of people living there.
They be like, oh, we in Queens now. You still a bum-ass nigga in Queens. Don't think because you came to the outer boroughs, you done stepped your weight up. You a bum.
Yeah, Queens is a step up, man.
And you know, I'm glad that I'm not homeless. But a lot of these people put themselves in these fucked up positions. And then they want people to help them. Like you just said, I'm not going to let nobody suck me dry. No way. They got jobs out here. You got niggas that don't want to work. Well, I'm not going to work at that job. But it's better than no job at all. I don't get it.
True.
Check it out. There was a Spanish kid that came to my job maybe about 9 months ago. My boss gave him a job. He started on Thursday. Friday, he didn't show up. Came in Tuesday and Wednesday. Then you didn't see him no more. Then I see him. He lives on the hotel that's on 134th and the South Conduit by the garbage company, right? He lives over there. And I didn't know he had a kid or a girl or whatever. So I didn't see him for months. I seen him the other day. He's walking. And they pushing a baby in the stroller that can't be no more than a year. And the girl got to be about 6 months pregnant. And I'm looking like, but you living in the shelter? And then you know what he said? Oh, you think they'll hire me back? I can't feel sorry for people like that. No way. I just don't get it.
Like I said, I have a friend now who's, living in the car. And he's a teacher, and he should be teaching. I get that. But because he's being overly picky, but some people are just quick hustlers. I'm it. I'm not. But I've never been out of work too long. When I went through a period where I was out of work, first thing I did was apply for a temp job. So I was never out of work more than 2 or 3 weeks. And then, but temp work is, they have some for you, sometimes they don't. But, they can keep you going. I applied to as many temp agencies as I could. So if one didn't have a job, the other would. I mean, there have been times where 2 or 3 agencies would call me at the same time, and I picked the one that was paying the most. But I tried to get him to do it, but he just wants to teach. Now, the problem is, because he's being super picky like that, he's in the car. And he's been doing it for a good while now, him and another family member. And I'm like, and I try my best to help. But like I said, when it's $20 here and $10 there, I didn't really think about it too much. But then it went up to $100 here, and my car broke down. And I towed the car. I got it fixed. I paid insurance. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't have a car now because of this reason. I did not want to mess around with maintaining a car. And all of a sudden now I find myself, I'm maintaining a car, I'm not even driving. So I had to get to the point where I had to say, you know what, I had to stop. And I know he needs his car because the car is not just his transportation, it's his bed, the house, all of that. And, I worried about them being out there, you're vulnerable when you sit in the car and some nut can, grab it, shoot at you, through the window or something like that. But I realized that the more I helped, the more he can go, well, okay, I'm going to keep being picky about what kind of job I'm going for. So I said, you know what, you got to do tough love. I just had to say no. It took me a while to do it, though, because I would always get that, I'm about to have a job soon. I'm about to get a job soon. And, it didn't work out. But, I'm not going to say I don't worry, but I can't keep doing it. And that would definitely kill my pockets if I keep doing it. Well, like I said, I got to keep a roof over my head. And if I kept doing that, I'm not going to have nothing. I don't even have a lot of people, and I want one. But
people want to do
what
they
might as
want
well
to
say
do.
I have one by paying for his. So anyway, hopefully there'll be something happening soon for the month of September. School season's about to start, so I'm hoping that this possibility that he had will come through. That's what I'm
why didn't you call me?
Question.
Huh?
No, why didn't your car?
Oh no, my car I haven't had a car in about 10 years.
What? Okay.
One day.
I really got to catch it.
I haven't. Yeah, it's been 10 years. What happened? I work in the mailroom with a bunch of young guys, and they talk all the trash about ball playing, so they didn't think I can play. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get out there and show them I can play a little bit. I didn't have a pair of sneakers either, so one of the guys gave me one of those tight sneakers. They were so tight that it's not something you should be playing ball in. Anyway, so I'm playing. Nobody touches me, and I come down. I hear this pop. I look around like, oh, did I get shot? I'm like, did I get shot? Because my leg felt numb. There's no blood coming. I'm like, what? So I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe I strained myself. And everybody, everybody stopped playing. They just heard me. They heard it too. And one of the guys said, oh, I know what that is. I'm like, nah. It's just a strain. So anyway, I go to the doctor. He tells me, oh, you strained yourself. I'm like, okay, but I kept limping for another couple of weeks. So everybody kept saying, you need to go back to the doctor. There's no way you should be limping this long. So I went back and got an MRI. He said, well, you got a torn Achilles. I'm like, oh. Ooh. He said, yeah, but it wasn't totally torn. I had a partial tear. So he said, well, one of the guys that worked, two guys at the job, had operations. And he told me that when he had to lay on his stomach and they had to put a needle in his spine and then they had to go in his leg and pull it down like a rubber band, I went, no way, I'm not doing that because I'm still walking around. So the doctor told me, well, if you're not planning on playing basketball anymore, and that hurt to hear that. If you're not planning on, playing no more and jumping up and down, you don't have to do that. Also, I was lifting weight to my leg in when they put 100 pounds in. I was still able to lift weight up and down. In fact, if I would have still kept doing my therapy, I probably would have full strength in it. But it doesn't have the full strength. I mean, I don't have any problem with walking around them like that because it's not a total tear. Well, it didn't totally rough. I had a tear. So.
And hey, brother.
But anyway,
I just wanted to say something. I just wanted to chime in. I've been listening. But the body gonna repair itself. So eventually it'll be 100%.
Oh yeah. Well, it's been about 10 years since it happened. So I mean, there's no pain. It didn't even hurt then. It just felt numb. But the reason why I was saying that is because the other part was about my car. What happened was I was going through, walking around going to the doctors and everything. I was so nervous. I wasn't paying attention. Now, my car wasn't running at that time. I had some kind of electrical problem. So I took it to the mechanic. He had it for 2 weeks in the street. Now, it wasn't far away from here, so I would be so nervous about my car. I would get up in the middle of the night, 12 o'clock in the night, whatever, 1 in the morning, just to go and make sure my car was okay. Or still, not that it was going anywhere, but he was leaving it open and anybody can go in it. So I'm like, this guy got my car sitting in the street here, because he had a small shop. It wasn't like he could put it inside. He couldn't find an electrical problem, like I said. So the car's sitting there, and I'm going through this issue with my leg. So I just said, you know what, if he can't fix it, I'm going to tow my car back on the block, and I'll find someone else who can fix it. So I had it towed back one night. As a matter of fact, I went in there, told him I had to get something out of the car. I got my keys, and I never went back in the shop. And then that night, I had a tow truck bring it back on the block. So, like I said, that whole thing with my leg happened, so I was limping back and forth going to the doctor. And one day, I walked past where my car was, but I didn't pay attention to it for a whole day. And I realized, wait a minute, when I went out to work, I know I parked the car. Well, it was towed right here. So I didn't know the car had been taken. And what the super had told me, that a tow truck came at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, not 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so he thought I had called a tow truck. Picked the car up, took it off. And since I didn't know it was gone for a couple of days, what this guy was doing was, and I didn't notice that you can get away with it up here in New York, in Jersey. If your car is more than 5 years old, believe it is, if it's not new, you don't have to have the papers proven it's yours. You could just say, anybody can call and say it's theirs. And so this guy said to come take my car and have it compacted for money.
Whoa.
The cop said, no, we got your car.
Wow.
Yeah. And the cop told me, they got your car. Yours is gone. But this was a young guy doing it. He had 20-something cars. He just had a tow truck. He would come to the block looking for old cars. Just take them. And like I said, and being that I didn't notice it for 2 days, it was more than enough time for the car to be compacted. So he said, yeah, they got you. And so I never bought another car. I mean, you go through that panic in the beginning when you haven't driven. Oh man, I need my car. But after a while, as time went on, I got used to not having it. I do want to get another one, but to be honest, just got used to not doing it. My other half needs the car more than me. I don't need it like that. I've gotten used to not having a car. And I must admit, I don't miss paying maintenance. I don't miss paying insurance. I don't miss any of that stuff. I like keeping that money in my pocket. But now it's at the point where, because she has developed arthritis and she's limping around now, it's really hard for her to be walking around. So I have to get a little something so that she can at least drive herself, or I can drive or whatever. But I haven't had. It's been 11 years since I had a car. I think about it. Yeah, 11 years since I had one. But that was my adventure. So yes, I tormentually and lost my car within the same week, 2 weeks.
You know what happened to mine? Check this out, because, I left my car down south. So my partner that I was sharing the house with, he calls me up. He says, I hope you're sitting down, right? This was last August. I'm like, okay. He says, your car had an accident, right? I'm like, my car had an accident.
It wasn't.
Yeah, it was in the driveway. How did my car have an accident? Yeah, he said I was driving it. I'm like, okay, what happened? Where is it? He said, I don't know. I said, how do you not know you had an accident in my car? Homeboy had a stroke, a major stroke driving my car, ran off the road and totaled. Oh,
okay. Well,
yeah,
lucky to be alive.
Yeah, woke up in the hospital. Yeah, jaws of life cut through my car to get him out.
Wow.
So it was totaled.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but that's what he said.
And sorry. I'm like, dude, I'm out of a car, and all you can tell me is sorry. He says, well, I can't work right now because I had this stroke. So he's messed up, man. He's on disability now. It's like I just had to kiss my ride goodbye, man.
Yeah. Well, I know if I get something else, it's going to be used. Because I had, I looked up at the job because when I started working there, they were underpaying me. So, I kept telling you guys, I work in the union, so there's different degrees, that, I forgot the word right now, where there's certain categories you fall on, you're supposed to make a certain amount of money. So I came from a department where I was basically maintenance. I did everything. I was the only guy in that department with a bunch of women. So I was the maintenance guy, I was the messenger, I did the mail, all that. But when I went to the mailroom and, the larger mailroom in the building, that's all I was supposed to be doing. I wasn't maintenance anything, but they still had me as a maintenance guy and a messenger. And I was getting paid there. I kept saying, I'm not a messenger. I'm part of the mailroom. And I kept telling them for years, I'm underpaid. So finally they did something where they reviewed everybody's pay and what you're supposed to be doing. And they found out, oh yeah, we are underpaying you. And we owe you retro. I'm like, okay, how much you going to do? I was wondering what I was going to see. So they called me to the HR department and they showed me a piece of paper. Well, this is what we owe you. It was $16,000 before taxes. I'm like, yeah. I just got up and walked out the room like, thank you. Because those taxes were a joke. Well, they killed me for about $6,000 on that, but still, I was kind of in a hole back then, and that helped me get up out of that hole. Now the problem is, once I get that little bit of money, going back what I was saying before, you'll start helping folks and start eating up my money. I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. If I keep doing this, I'm going to be right back where I was before. I'm going to have nothing. And so another reason why I had to stop, because I was going through it, helping others. I wasn't buying myself anything. And when I first got the money, I went, I'm going to get me a nice little car. I'm going to put the rest of the money in the bank. But first thing I did, helping folks move. And helping this one, I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. I'm blowing through this. I'm like, I'm not going to have none. I'm like, gotta stop, because I got to have something saved. So, but anyway, that's where I'm at right now, because I can't have my pockets killed. I don't mind helping. I hate saying no. I love being a help. There's nothing like putting a smile on somebody's face when you can help them out. But at the same time, when you look at your own bank account going down and down and down, like, wait, hold up here. They're not going to be able to help me if I do this, so I have to stop.
That's right.
But, yeah.
Well, these are interesting times, man. I was saying to somebody the other day, I haven't seen greed like this being popular since the 80s. I mean, this is the era right now of pure D greed, man. And, these dudes in power right now are snatching all they can and taking all they can. Now,
you're right.
I'm not a Trump supporter. Yeah, I'm not a Trump supporter. I don't agree with his agenda, and I definitely don't agree with his ideology. However, I am a hustler. And so, it's hustle first, and politics and ideology second and third. So my thing is like, look, you got to adjust your game to make this paper here. You know, this is a time of greed. You know, I'm not saying that, you know, you should sacrifice your ethics. I'm not saying you should do things, you know, that you will regret later. But while this era is in place, you got to get all you can while you can. Because once the winds change, they're not going to change, you know, for the better or for the hustler. So this is a hustle mode. Get your hustle on. You know, there's a lot of opportunity out there, a lot of money on the table. You know, you just got to go ahead and reach for it. You know, you can't be scared. So this is the time. This is a hustler's paradise right now. Y'all got to go for it.
Well, I'm kind of lucky where I'm at. Where I'm living at right now, I negotiate them in. I'm in a small studio, but I'm also paying small money for this. And I'll tell my other half, I'm like, okay, she wants more room. I get it. As a studio, you want more space. But at the same time, you're not paying much for rent. I'm like, they want double what I'm paying in here because it's a small space. I always pay my rent on time, and so my rent hasn't gone up much in the. I've been here 11 years, and it hasn't gone up much. But when I found out what they really want, I'm like, I told her, I said, you know, if we move from here, and let's try to save everything we can, because the rent doesn't go down when you move; it goes up. You better take advantage of this while you can. Cause I'm not paying much. I'm like, we gotta squeeze every penny out of this while we can. Yeah, this space is small. It's a studio, but I'm not paying that much money, and we're splitting it in half, so it's really not that much. So I'm just saying, just squeeze it all out. My problem is open other folks. I can definitely save a whole lot more, but you know, helping this one, helping that one, you know, I could have a whole lot more money saved, but it could be worse. It could be worse. That's
well, you know what? You know that apartment building, and well, you haven't been over this way in a while, right?
No.
All right. Well, they got two. They got. Remember the old meat market that used to be on Suffin and Archer?
Yeah.
Well, that's now an apartment building.
Yeah,
I think there's 200-something units in there now. And
is it finished? That's the affordable housing.
Damn near finished. Yeah. Well, they had 60,000 applications for 200-something apartments.
Well,
right.
I put in for 3 of those. Yeah, I believe it. Because I put in for 3.
I heard they do those buildings on a lottery kick.
Yeah, they do. It's a lottery kick. And then there's a luxury building coming up where the old bank used to be, and the old Dwayne Reed used to be right there on Arch and Suffin. It's a luxury.
Yep, right on the
building.
corner. Yep.
Yeah, around the corner. Yeah.
Well, that building
got
on
another building on 165th and Archer.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I put in for that building. I put in for that building before they built it. It's on Walker.
Mm-hmm.
They even called me one day and said, "Oh, you in the?" I said, "Yes, I'm in the lottery. I had already sent the second application out." Nobody never called. The building went up, and I'm starting to see people living in there now. I'm like, and nobody said nothing else to me. And literally,
they're giving those buildings to a lot of foreigners.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. But that pissed me off because I put in for that building, a new building, or something on Baisley, and actually on 42nd Street. Even though I don't want to live in Manhattan, but if it came up with that, because the rent was right, what they're asking, it's just.
And those new buildings down there at Queens Plaza, they charging $3,000 a month and up.
Well, that's not affordable. That's not affordable.
Yeah. You know, for those of y'all that's listening,
for the people.
Yeah.
That's for the people who don't want to pay the Manhattan rates or don't want to live in Long Island no more. They can afford that.
Yeah. For those of y'all listening, all of us grew up in the same neighborhood together, and it was pretty much a stable black neighborhood, black/Caribbean, you know, a little Latino neighborhood for years. And now gentrification has hit and changed everything, changed the whole game. So, you know, where you used to have stable, you know, fairly middle, you know, class black families, and we all knew each other, now it's a whole new ball game. There's new folks moving in. Nobody knows each other. Nobody has any connection or allegiance to each other. It's all, you know, new blood, and basically, you know, we got a whole neighborhood change from, you know, pretty much black. Well, when we were kids, it was Italian, but now, you know, it didn't turn black, and it was stable for a long time. Now it's East Indian, Guyanese, Colombians, Central Americans, and some of everything. Yeah, Trinidad, yeah.
Punjabis,
so just, Punjabis, yeah. So, you know, with the neighborhood that was stable for us as children growing up and allowed us to all be friends and be tight, that's gone. You know, so different world.
You can't even go down by Lefferts Boulevard no more. You think you're in another country.
Nah. Yeah.
Yeah. They're calling that Little Bangladesh or something. I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. I used to live in this. Now you're calling another country name Little something. I'm like, what the? I know Sybil's was there a long time ago. They did a story about Sybil's a few weeks ago when they had places to eat in Queens. I was like, at least I recognize that. But
I never ate in that place before. Never.
With Sybil's? Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, they got another spot too on Hillside Avenue.
I'm not into that West Indian food. Say that again?
Well, you Southern. You got that Southern in you, though.
Mm-hmm. Sybil's has another spot on Parsons and Hillside.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't surprise.
Yeah, they expanded. Yeah. They damn near own the whole block.
Always crowded. Always crowded.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a small little place too. It's not like, unless they expand it. I mean, I haven't been over that part of the neighborhood in a long time. But no, this neighborhood is changing.
They got another place that's competing with Sybil's called Sings. Yeah. That's on
Sings. Yeah, across the street.
Liberty between 131. Yeah. So.
Yeah, they were talking about it in the Daily News last week. Yeah. But the joke is, if you see a Starbucks go up in the neighborhood, you know who's coming. And it's so true.
They got them all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, but usually if you see a Starbucks go up in the neighborhood,
Starbucks is on 160th and Jamaica Avenue.
Yeah, and there's one on Suffolk Boulevard too.
Yeah.
It's
when you see
they done moved the methadone clinic. I'm like, this shit is changing.
Yeah. But that's the running joke. When you see a Starbucks, you know the white folks are coming. So, we're going to get a Macy's back up there. We got the fake Chinese food Panda up there now. We got Chipotle's is coming up there. You start seeing those high-end
clothes on 165th.
Mm-hmm.
But see, I guess the saddest part is, there's a whole generation of young brothers, man, that are in their 20s and 30s, that are doing street hustles, just for daily living. They're not even really profiting. They're doing $2 swipes, on the subway and selling nutcracker and all that. You know what nutcracker is, right? Yeah. And so, you have a whole generation of dudes, man, that's in their prime years, 20s and 30s, that don't have any vision for the future. Like, you can't hustle like this day to day, doing day to day, hand to hand hustle like this into your 40s. It looks kind of weird, to see old dudes trying to do this too. You got to have a long-term game plan. You got to have a vision for the long term. And
I'm kind of scared.
I shake my head because it's like, man, these are viable dudes, man. These are dudes, that have their health. They have all their facilities. I mean, they're in their prime working years, and they're not seeing that, this day-to-day, thing. Like, if you take, in a couple of cases, I've heard brothers say, well, I don't want a minimum wage job, but I'm like, yo, this hustle you're doing, it is minimum wage. If you're out here 10, 12 hours a day doing $2 swipes, when you break it down by the hour, it is minimum wage. So, how do you change brothers like that? How do you change that mentality? Because to me, I don't know, maybe I'm different, but, I'm black first. And so I'm looking at these guys and seeing black men in their prime that are kind of wasting it, man. And so, I don't know what to say to them to say, you got to get some, long-term game. You got to get some long green going there, because this thing here, it may profit you today. It may even last a month or 2 months or 3 months, but there's a time limit on this shit here. And so, you want to try to have a family, because I see girls with babies down, in the subway, hanging out and stuff like that. I'm like, yo, you got your kids up here hanging out too? Where you doing your hustling at? What kind of shit is that? Most hustlers keep their family away from the bullshit. But it's a different mentality now. And how do you save these brothers? Because these are the brothers that's going to be 50, 60 years down the road, begging and homeless because they didn't put a long-term game in place. So it's like, damn, what do you do? My heart goes out to these dudes, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what to do. You ready?
Yeah.
Fuck them. You want to be that fucking dumb? Fuck you. Because them niggas get an attitude and the cops ain't shit. Let me tell you what the cops did to me last week. I got a delivery to the Parsons and Archer train station. You got all the Jamaican dollar van guys blocking the bus stop. The cops don't say nothing to them. You got the kids on the other side by the movie theater, got that sour, got that loud. They don't say nothing. They come up to me that's making a delivery to the MTA, and they ask the MTA worker, is that truck for you? He going to be there long? You know what he told the cop? Get the fuck out of here. Because you want them guys to sell that sour and loud so you can lock their dumb ass up.
Yo, we doing a sour and loud, by the way.
Delivery and you beefing.
Yeah. What is sour and loud? Because I hear that all the time. I didn't know what it was.
That's some new weed that'll make you fucking retarded.
Okay.
So it's stronger and stronger weed now, then, huh? That stuff's so strong that you can walk weed.
They got weed that they spraying embalming fluid. They soaking it in diesel fuel, all kind of shit.
Damn.
These dudes see me because my car got to go in the shop. It's early in the morning. Got that sour, got that loud. And sometimes I don't say nothing. Then sometimes I say some slick shit because I be wanting somebody to say something so I could throw their little bony 130-pound ass over that fucking railing down in the train. Yo, got that sour, got that loud. I said, do it look like I smoked that shit? He goes, yo, OT, you need to try it.
What?
Another time I said, yo, you don't even know if I'm the fucking police. You don't look like a cop. How do a fucking cop look?
They're not scared of that no more.
And then when you go, let me tell you, they think they not scared until they ass be upstate and they see this shit is for real. That shit don't scare me. But them little bony ass niggas up there, they be scared. Like, oh. But you still got a handful of dudes that be like, I'm going to rape his bony ass. These niggas be talking that shit, got that sour, got that loud. Ain't nothing. Listen, at least the niggas that was hustling when I was coming up had cars and jewelry and clothes. These niggas is bums. If you selling drugs and you got less than the working man got, you're fucked up. So when you said you feel sorry for these dudes, don't feel sorry for them motherfuckers. You need dumb niggas like that. Because if everybody was on the same level as you, shit'll be fucked up. So let them niggas be dumb. Like, everybody can't be pretty. Everybody can't be rich. Everybody can't be smart. If everybody was as smart as me, then I wouldn't make a difference. I'm like, damn, we all the same. No, don't work like that. Leave them dumb niggas be right where they at, because you need niggas like that. So when you stepping over them,
you know what they start
doing,
you
want them to go to where you want to go.
But you know what, though? The bad thing about that, though, is those brothers, when they feel there's nothing else they can do, then they start turning to worse crime. They want to start robbing you and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then they got this hotel called, they got the hotel upstate, free room and board with cable. Free. So listen, if you want to be a jackass, and you didn't finish school, or you complain I'm not working, you know why people work for minimum wage? Because that's what they qualified to do. A lot of these guys, I told them, yo, I got the CDL answers. They didn't take it. And then I went to jail and came back and went back to work like nothing happened. And now they be like, yo, they hiring? Like, let me tell you what a dude at my job did. I think about 2.5 months ago. He sees me in the street. Oh, I need a favor. So I thought he wanted some money. I said, what you want? He said, yo, I got this bottle. He had an empty Poland Springs bottle. You know what he wanted me to do, right?
Piss for him?
Huh?
He wanted to piss for him.
He wanted.
Yo, he said, could you pee in this bottle for me? Because he don't want to lose his job. So I told him, I said, look, I'm going to give you this one piss. Any pee from now on, I want $50. And that's cheap. Because you know what the going rate for piss is right now? $200.
Yeah, man.
I didn't know there was a market for piss.
$200 piss?
Yo, you know how many people will lose their job if they didn't know how to get other people's piss, or if they didn't know what to take to clean the piss? There'd be a lot of unemployed people.
Wow.
And I don't feel sorry for them. I don't feel sorry.
I don't smoke. My job doesn't. They don't check for that at the job. I asked because my job, people have gotten so relaxed that in the afternoon, the back of the building, they smoke so. I don't know who that is, but they smoke so heavy that the smoke rises up through the freight elevator all the way to the fourth floor. I'm like, they got some nerve. They got some nerve. They said they don't care. They're not scared. I'm like, I'm on the freight elevator with the guy who runs the elevator. I'm like, and sometimes I ask him, you're not smoking now. I mean, that's how strong it is. We're 4 floors up, but when he stops on that floor, it literally walks into the elevator and he carries it on the floor with him. I said, people gonna think you smoking there, right? You need to say something. But
but see,
you don't care.
People got their priorities wrong. You rather a job or to get high? See, I've never got high, so I really don't have no feeling for niggas who get high. People like, oh, you be hard on them dudes that get high. You fucking right. Dude asked me the other day, yo, what's going on, man? He's always by the job. He don't work. Yo, what's going on? I'm like, not much. Oh, I see you out here making that money. Yeah, I'm trying. You got a cigarette? I said, nah, I don't smoke. He said, oh, could I get 50 cents to buy a cigarette? I said, yo, come here, man. I said, I don't take kindly to this, but I'm going to let you off easy. I don't really give a fuck that you smoke. Don't ask me for cigarette money. Because I know his mind ain't right. His mind ain't right. Like, I seen the guy over there on Bedford and Atlantic. Yo, what's up, my brother? It's always my brother when they want something, but you don't get it, that fucking nigga in the truck. Yo, this thing goes, yo, what's up, man? Could you help me out with some change? I said, give me some money. Yo, this nigga had a mad amount of money, right? He had a couple of $100. I told him, I said, I should kick you right in your fucking chest. You doing better than me. Yeah. He laughed. Yo, you need something? I said, nah, I'm good. I said, yo, this motherfucker. I don't feel sorry for people that's begging, because most of the people that's begging really don't need the money. You know that, right? That's their hustle.
Well, you got some
scam artists. A lot of people who need that money, they pride won't allow them to beg for money. Be them niggas that ain't broke, that's begging, like the white lady on Lefferts Boulevard that was begging, hey, sweetie, can I get $1 or 50 cents? That rich bitch.
Wow.
Yo, nah, I don't give my money. When I'm broke, I can't get nothing from nobody because I refuse to ask. People got a lot of nerve.
Yeah, I tell you,
listen, people get on the bus and women think that I'm going to give my seat up. No, for $2.75, I'm not.
Oh no, my days of being chivalrous, that's gone. I don't do that no more. Unless, you got to be pretty old. Really old. I don't do that no more. I don't give up my seat.
Oh, that girl is pregnant. Give her the seat. I ain't pregnant.
No, I don't do that no more. Because when I was walking around with this boot on one time, they said, oh man, you need to get up here. You got to be a gentleman. And then they realized I'm still wearing when I had tore my Achilles. I walked around with that boot for 8 months. Oh, I'm so sorry. You're paying attention. I got up though. I gave him the seat. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that no more. No more. I seen a woman start smiling. I gave her the seat. She was smiling like, oh, I didn't. I got you on that one. Like, okay, that's all right. So from now on, when I'm on the buses, I don't give up my seat because I don't know what I'm going into at work anyway. They may have me doing 2 or 3 jobs. So I'm not tiring myself out. I don't do that no more. That's it, no more. I got to be in a good mood before I give you other than that. Yeah, it's going to be $3. It's going. Or the people who don't want to give up the seat.
They need to serve you snacks and a drink for $3. Shit is too expensive. Then you got Mr. Soft. He ain't nothing but a crack dealer because he charged $5 for a milkshake. You could buy drinks cheap than Mr. Soft.
Well, now that the school season is almost here, now you're going to get everybody with the backpacks and don't know how to take them off when they're on the train or bus. I'm like, people are trying to walk down the aisle here. Take those things off.
This guy hit me. I'm on the bus. This guy turned and hit me with one of the man purses right in my head. And didn't even say, excuse me. And had to let it go. Because I always tell people, I'm willing to take this where you're not going to go with this. So I advise you, the guy in Brooklyn cut me off in his car by Sarah City in the truck. I swerved not to hit him. I go on the wrong side of the street. Lucky nobody's coming to load shifted. So I catch up to him at the corner. And I'm like, yo, what was that about? Oh, you seen me pulling out? First of all, I got the right away and you didn't see me. We go back and forth, get out. I'm like, you want a problem? He throws his hands up. He's younger than me. He's a little bit bigger than me. I flinched out. He jumped back. I said, you don't want a problem. Go ahead. I walk back to the truck. He runs up on the truck. I jump out the truck. I chase him with a pipe. I hit him with the pipe. Right? He follows me to the next block. He got another guy with him. Right? What's up? Let's shoot 5. So I'm not shooting shit. You had your chance, and you a bitch. I said, you Brooklyn niggas ain't shit anyway. So we arguing. So I leave. 7 weeks later, the DTs is at my job. We looking for this guy. He assaulted this guy. Luckily, the cops were Spanish, and they saw that my name was Spanish, and they told my boss, here's our cards. Tell him do not call us. If anything, we're going to show him some pictures. If he could pick them out of the pictures, we'll call him. If not, don't worry about it. That shit was over 2 months ago. But see, people talk shit and don't be willing to go the extent. I'm willing to go 110% on your ass. So if you want to front like you tough, I'm going to show you what tough is. Like a guy out of the neighborhood with the initials KM pulled a gun out on me on Liberty Avenue, right? And I told him, I said, yo, I don't believe you're stuttering and you're threatening me. I said, you know, we both in our 50s, but y'all niggas ain't built for the ass whipping. While y'all recuperating from being high, I'm in the gym. So for the average 50-something-year-old, I will fucking seriously hurt you. And I thought about it. I came up there one Halloween. That Halloween, I came looking for him. I was in all black. I was going to put him in the ground. But then you look at it. I'm working. I get good money. This nigga's still living at home. He's like a roach that's on his back with the legs kicking. It don't really make no sense for you to step on him because you know he's going to die anyway. And I'm
He's still living at home?
From being locked up. Yeah.
Damn, man. Shit.
That's why I said I don't feel sorry for these niggas. You still on the block selling weed and dope. What do you know what happens when you get caught selling dope? You're going away like you killed somebody. What niggas got to learn the hard way.
Unfortunately.
And the end thing is everybody's snitching. You won't snitch on me because I'm not doing nothing wrong. One dude had the nerve to come to me, and I had to do some shit that I try not to do. I told the dude, he asked why nobody don't speak to my wife. So why don't you ask your wife? And he just kept on digging. I said, did your wife tell you that I fucked her with no condom on for years and nutted all in her? She sucked my dick and then came up to smile at your face in the jail? I said, so hopefully we don't have this conversation again because you a snitch anyway. Now, if you want to make this a crime scene, let me know right now because I'm guaranteed I'm going to tear your face off. And then I told him, we good? And I shook his hand. Beat it. That's how you got to treat motherfuckers. Because motherfuckers be acting like, oh, it can't happen. I'll make the shit happen. I don't got to worry about my kids. I don't got no kids. And you niggas with kids, you don't take care of them little bastards anyway. So get out my face. That's how you got to treat people. I be telling these niggas, I'm worse than the white man. Because the white man, he ain't going to put his hands on you unless he the cops. Me, I'm going to fuck you up. And the worst thing you could do is tell somebody, you know I was fucking your wife. Regardless if he thinks you're going to whip his ass, he's supposed to swing on you. Take the ass with him. What? Like I said, niggas ain't shit. And that's why I treat them the way I treat them. I fuck mad chicks in the neighborhood. Fuck them niggas. And you know what they were saying about me? Yo, we don't never see him with a girl. He's a homo. Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. I'm a homo. Your girl and your aunt and your grandmother must be a boy. That's how you gotta treat these motherfuckers. That's why I come home. I don't fuck with these dudes. Nobody knows that I live in St. Albans. I live in the back cave, 14 miles from Gotham City. When I pull up, the grass goes down. I pull in, and it goes back up. They don't know. They don't know Alfred lives here. Alfred is upstairs right now. That's how you got to treat them. When black, let me tell you something. You got blacks and you got niggas. Listen, you got blacks and you got niggas. Black people will say, you know Joe Neckbone, I noticed you bought the house, you got the new car. What do I have to do to get what you got? Blacks will see, be like, hey, B, I like what you're doing. You put the house up real nice. You got the kids looking good. What do I got to do to get like that? Niggas will be like, fuck them niggas. I hope they lose everything they got. I don't got time for niggas. Yeah. Niggas don't want to see you doing the right thing, so you don't never, your best bet, and I tell everybody, don't let these niggas know what is going right for you. They don't like that. When niggas see me, they be like, yo, what's up, man? Yo, I'm fucked up. They see you. And another thing, don't never count your change when you come out the store. Count that shit in the store, because these niggas is like, it's like birds. You ever see, there's no birds nowhere around. You throw a piece of bread, they come out of nowhere. That's how niggas are. You come out the store, you count your money. Yo, could I hold something? Like, what?
No, 42nd Street is just, I'm telling you, look the same way. I walk up and down, I turn my head, or maybe I just bought a donut from one of those stands. You turn around and it's like they came from out of nowhere, like they suddenly appear. You got $1. I'm like, where'd you
smell
come
that
from?
shit.
I didn't see one walk up. Yeah, they sense it. Oh well.
But see, the bad part is when you on Liberty, and 135th, these is the bums that you grew up with. That's what makes it worse. So let me hold something. So could you get me a beer? I don't drink beer. Oh, you still ain't drinking? I drink if I go to a party or a cookout, but to be on the corner, the liquor store opening up at 8 o'clock, these niggas is drunk by 8:45.
That means they gave up.
So you want some of this?
You know, I guess
I'm like, I don't got time for these dudes. They want to be a loser, go ahead. And niggas was tight when I came home from doing all that time. And 86 days later, I had a Corvette convertible, and I was riding with the top down in November. They hated that.
I remember that. I remember that vet too. Man, you know, but I guess for me the sad part is, you know, living in this neighborhood, they like ghosts, man. And you know, you see ghosts of the past, you know, and it kind of sometimes I just look and just shake my head because it's like you still out here on the corner hustling, you know, nickel and dime shit, you know, and some dudes just don't want to let that life go, man. I mean, I don't understand the attraction of it. But, you know, to each his own, I suppose.
Like I asked this one girl that I used to deal with, I was like, yo, since you don't like the living arrangements in your parents' house.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
She goes, I said, yo, why you don't leave? And she paused, and she told me, she said, because I've never been on my own. Bitch, if you don't see the fucking...
Is that M?
You know, no, that's not M. That's Van Wick. Oh. You don't know her.
Okay.
When it's all said and done, bitch, you reaching over the platform, you see this motherfucking train coming. Oh, it ain't gonna be here yet. When you hear the tracks go clink, clink, you know the train is coming. When her parents passed away, because they told me themselves, they was like, we are paying $2,400 for mortgage, which you shouldn't be paying if you bought a house back in '73. But they kept getting loans offered for the grandson and the burial and the lawyers and so on and so forth. And this bitch ain't even thinking that you need a job. If they pass away, You can't pay the mortgage. You're going to be out in the street because a nigga ain't going to, let me tell you, you got some badass women out here making $100,000 a year, 60 grand, 50 grand, whatever. And niggas ain't trying to look out for them. So you think they're going to really look out for a bitch that's leeching off of you? You crazy. But you just as good as homeless right now. You just waiting for them to call your number. But you can't feel sorry for these motherfuckers. I look at it like, if that's what you want to do, go right ahead. I don't feel sorry. And at one time I told a person, yo, I'm going to get a place, and, you know, if things don't work out for you, I'll let you rock for about 6 months, get on your feet. This bitch don't want to get a job. And like I told this other girl, oh, I be deep throwing niggas. Yeah, that and $10 will get you $10 worth of gas. What are you, stupid? All that deep throwing, you ain't got shit.
Wow.
So, I don't know, niggas is bugged out, and black people is trying to make it. It's like the motherfuckers that complain, yo, these foreigners came here and took all the transit jobs. No, these jobs was here before these motherfuckers came to this country. Stop fucking crying. I don't know. Niggas are stupid. Just like the niggas that come up to me. Yo, so, you still got that BCL license, right? What? BCL? At least get the letters right. A BCL license.
Okay.
For one, you can't pass the urine test. Number two, you don't know where the fuck you going. Not that easy.
Yo, that urine test is a monster, man. The urine test is
I like the
really
urine test.
taking out.
You know why?
Yeah, it's taking a lot of
why
brothers
I like
out,
the
man.
urine test? Yeah, because they put themselves in that position. I don't get high, so they give me a urine. Now, if they test me for cheating with somebody else, girl, I lose my job. They be like, oh, we got infidelity in your bloodstream. What? Damn, I thought I cleaned that out. Other than that, I don't care about that urine shit.
Yeah.
We got pictures of you with Mr. Such and Such, and not me. Do you mind giving us the urine sample? Sure.
But you know what? You don't have to smoke to for that urine sample to get you in trouble. If you're taking any kind of medication, they can move wrong on for you too. I've heard of people losing their job. Oh, wait a minute, I didn't smoke. Right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I tell them, yo, you got to tell them up front, yo, this is the medication I'm on. Motherfuckers is taking medications that they're not even supposed to be taking. Yo, all you got to do is tell them this, that, and the other, and they going to give you. One kid told me, he said, yo, I got Viagra pills for sale. Viagra pills? How you get that shit? Oh, I told him I was, he said, oh, I told him I'm having a problem with an erection. I said, you taking them shits? You really going to have a problem.
Mm-hmm. It can kill you also.
Shit.
Yeah, it was a girl at the job selling those things at $8 a pill, something like that.
Oh, it's gone down in price, huh? Yeah, my uncle was selling them damn things. Yeah, my uncle was selling them things for $15 a pill, man. Him and his crew, the disability boys.
Disability boys.
Mm-hmm. You know the old dudes that be on disability. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But that medicine will kill you.
There's always a scam going on. That's what I like about New York. There's always some shit going on.
You got that right, boy.
Always.
People find a way to squeeze it. Yep. If people find a way to make it money. Man.
I was going to say, the other day, man, I'm sleeping, I hear this scuffle going on outside, and, you know, there's a construction site next door. So what happened was some dude, I don't even know this dude, tried to bum rush him, saying, you only hiring Mexicans, you know, you need to hire black people because you're in a black neighborhood, and we're going to take this site over and shut you down and this and that. So they snatched up, there's a bunch of Indians that own the site, and they hired, you know, a bunch of Mexicans. So they snatched up one of the Indian dudes and started to beat his ass. And then the cops came and a bunch of other Indian dudes came. You know, it was about to be on and popping. And so, you know, I asked him this, so what happened? He said, well, you know, guy tried to bum rush me, man. Talking about, you know, hiring his people because they ain't got no black people working on this site. He said if he'd have asked me, it would have been a different story. But he said he just came to me and got up in my face, you know, and tried to get some aggression going. So I'm like, well, you know, I told him when they first started broke ground on, I said, streets be watching, man. You think it's a sedate neighborhood, it's really not. You know, I said, you know, everybody got eyes on y'all because it's obvious that y'all dumping money in this place. You know, so they looking like, yeah, I want to get a piece of that action too. So I said to them, it's going to be worse before it get better. I said, wait till y'all get open and go, you know, open for business. I said, you think, you know, folks going to look at this shiny new building and not say nothing or do something or try and get a piece of the action for themselves? I said, welcome to Queens, y'all. It's coming.
What kind of store is this?
The hotel next door.
Okay. Oh, hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well.
6-story hotel.
A lot of shit is going on.
Mm-hmm. Right here in the neighborhood. Dude was like, yeah, I want the airport business. I said, good luck with that. You gonna bring tourists to this neighborhood? You know, that's like a shepherd walking into a wolf den saying, this is a good place to graze my lambs, you know?
Yeah, they getting ready to switch up, though, because you see they taking over the milk farm down on Liberty in South Road.
Yeah, yeah.
And you see that hotel that they built over there by the junkyard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Things
really
that
about
hotel.
to change.
People like, oh, they built that hotel and like, people saying, why they put that there? I said, there's something coming. You watch. They ain't going to put that hotel up there by the junkyard and they not getting ready to clean that up. 40 Projects is next.
Mm. Well, you know, there's no smoking in the projects now, right? You know that, right?
I heard.
Yeah. So they can kick
That's
you out over there.
all to get people out of there. Yeah.
Yeah.
If people don't see it coming, that's too bad.
What? No? Well,
I don't know.
The
price of the cigarettes, I wouldn't be smoking either. I seen one store, them shits is $14.25.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's the funny part.
Trying to make it so you don't want to smoke it.
Yeah, around all the projects, there's places sell loose cigarettes, but there's no smoking on project property. Check that out.
So you got to walk a couple of blocks away.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So they just set folks up. That's like them you know, doing in Chicago where they did the truck with the sneakers. You heard about that? The cops got a truck full of Nike sneakers, and parked it in the hood, and then they was arresting people.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
The big setup, huh?
Oh yeah.
Wow. What? Let me ask something. Is that young lady who was listening before still there, or she just let all the New York guys talk? I think so. Yeah. Because first she was on the conversation, then she got quiet on it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, we got into a New York thing. Sorry, y'all. We got into a heavy New York thing.
I'm still here. I'm enjoying the conversation. I'm listening. I'm cracking up over here. And
Carlos, funny dude.
In the backyard. I'm not in the studio, but we're actually, chatting and stuff like that. So no, I'm enjoying it. Look, for me, like, okay, everybody on this phone that I grew up with is from New York, and they're in New York. So I'm like the dude who's like, in exile, far away, even though I still consider it down the road. Just gotta take a.
But you know what we're talking about.
No, I know.
You got out the Matrix, man.
I'm kind of fantasizing like we're back on the block talking, so it's a good feeling for me on a Sunday to hear these familiar voices talking. I'm saying, this is a good conversation because I'm going to be a real old man listening to this. Like, back in the day,
Well, the cool thing about the modern era, though, and having modern technology is if you get an address, you can still see it on your phone. Even if you can't physically be there, at least you can still see it, see what
no, I'm going up and down 134th Street all the time and all around the neighborhood through Google Earth. Traveling down, you get the arrow and you follow it. I look at my old house and look at all the banana blocks and see how different things are. I mean, I go to different places in the country. And, I go on Periscope and watch people talking from all over the world, different countries and stuff. So, and again, remember, there's a lot of folks from all over the world that contact me and just all over the country for the shows and stuff. And, they tell me a lot locally. So it's been good for me, but it's like having the best view in the prison in the prison. And I'm not saying this is a prison. No. I mean, I enjoy it down here. If I have a problem, it's with America itself. But, you know, I'm just down the road, and I can come on up. What disappoints me when I do come to New York, it hits me more probably than you guys who have always been there, how much has changed. Yeah. I mean, you know,
I've always been here. But it hits me still, bro. I haven't always been here. Remember, I moved back a couple of years ago, but man, you know, it's like I feel like sometimes like I'm on The Walking Dead, because you walk through the neighborhood and you see like shadows and ghosts, you know, of people and things.
Me too.
You know,
exactly.
Yeah,
Memory.
and yeah. But you know, I meant to tell you something, man. My cousin, you know, it said something real interesting to me. You know, that kind of hit me real hard. He said to me, you know what, Joe? He says, I'm a citizen of the United States. Fuck America. And I'm like, what? He says, yeah, let me break it down to you. He says, I was born and raised here. I'm a citizen of the United States. That I'll claim. But he said, this America shit, you know, he said, that's propaganda, man. You know, people, you know, they take that term America and they twist it and turn it to their own devices. And I'm like, you know, he has a point. You know, I mean, you know, when you talk about this country, you know, it's in the context of America. But, you know, I mean, technically we're all citizens here, you know, of the United States, and that's fine. But this America propaganda, patriot shit, I ain't with that shit either. You know, I ain't with all that rah-rah, make America great again and all that. Nah, man, fuck off, man.
Of course
you know,
not.
That's propaganda.
You know how I feel. You know how I feel. It like I said, like even
well, I think I was gonna say I think most Americans feel the same way. But in defense of the country, and I'm not defending, you know, how certain people act. You know, I think we all know what we're talking about. This is also the youngest nation on earth. Everybody else is hundreds, if not thousands of years old. This country is like a teenager, like a kid that just, and you know how kids are when they're growing up. They're rebellious. They don't know how to act. And this country is kind of in that mode where it's still trying to figure itself out. Everybody else is much, much older. So when I hear people come from other countries like, well, how come America doesn't do this? Yeah, you come from a country that's like thousands of years old. There's no comparison. We're only 400 years old. This is the great experiment of the earth. Everybody from all these different places trying to live in one place and trying to make it work. And again, I'm not defending, you know, the behavior that we know that white folks have done, how we got here, and so on and so forth. But technically, compared to everybody else, they're a baby. Like, there's no comparison. This country is young. They still got to figure it out. For the good or for bad, they got to figure it out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All countries fall. But what I want to say for me, the way I see it, I've found out a lot that a lot of people that come here, being the fact that, like, okay, New York City, a lot of tourists come through, and where I am, you know, Orlando, we got a gazillion tourists coming from so many different places, even more so because of the weather and everything. And I get a lot of conversations with these people, and a lot of them, they come here really for the deals, to shop, the attraction.
Yeah, well, right.
They want to go back home. They don't really dig it too tough. And there's a lot of propaganda in the media, and when you kind of learn and talk to a lot of people directly and know people in the media, things look different. What I'll say is that growing up, I was led to believe that it was one thing, but you quickly find out that it's something else. And for me, it's not even about the physical boundaries of a country, because America does have a big influence beyond its borders. Like, okay, you know, America, United States, whatever you want to call it, you know, other places have this image of it. And, you know, just talking to people from the Caribbean, because I know that well, they can't wait to get here. When they get here, they find out really how unfair things are and how hard you have to work, which, you know, these are hardworking people. These are black folks, not niggas, you know. We have our own memories of the neighborhood, and for me, it's the people. It's not the actual location, because we all on this line could have grown up in a different country or a different part of the country and still have that kind of love. It really has nothing to do with New York, per se. It's the human beings. So, like when Joe Neckbone says that he sees a ghost town, you know, and sees the ghost. For me, I see the same thing. I've come up there and had flashbacks. Like, I remember here in this building, and it's a mockery. And if you remember that commercial from the late 60s and the early 70s of the Indian walking on the side of the road when they dropped the trash at his feet, and a tear shed, even though that wasn't a real Indian, it was a white man, you know, done up to be looking like an Indian. My thing, what I figured out for me, is the system that's unfair white supremacy all over. It's not about the country, but the system of white supremacy. It may not be a white man, because I have white friends and they understand how I feel being targeted as a black man, I have a lot of talents and abilities. A lot of people on the phone line here have it. But we've had to deal with obstacles in a system that's set up to be unfair. So the physical land, we know they're young and this and that, but it's a global thing now. It's not even about a country against another country. That's propaganda. The worldwide system of white supremacy is what is really we're fighting against in the press, in the school system, in the politics, which are fake to distract you. And those systems are set up in a way where they come out on top all the time. And so, we understand we have a thing where every day we have something in social media. Some school principal called a kid a nigger. Some cop called a black woman a black bitch. So those are distractors. Those little incidents are distractors. Those are important. Yeah, we don't want that to happen to us, but it keeps us distracted from bringing down the whole system. Black men are being emasculated in the media, and encouraged to be. If I'm going to say the F word, if you're a faggot who has emasculated himself, you got a better chance of success in their hierarchy, in their world, more so than you being a black alpha male who can think for himself, think Shaft, think Muhammad Ali, think, Malcolm X, these guys who, get along with everybody, but they're not taking no crap. They don't want that. And it's a spiritual warfare. It's a spiritual battle, and that's above our heads. I mean, I'm not going to say Satan and the devil. I'm just going to say those negative forces and those positive forces and the ones that created us. To hell with the religions. I'm against religion. I don't want nothing to do with religion. That's a shackle. That's a fallacy, because who gave us the religion? Who gave it to us? And what does it do for us with all the churches and stuff we have here? So that system is a big lie, because it's just as much craziness and a lot of weak-minded people who should be warriors in the church. If we speak about Christianity, we have 253 different sects. S-E-C-T-S, not sex. We went from sex to sex now, right? And yet and still there's nobody. You look at a guy like a T.D. Jakes, a mega pastor who's supposed to exemplify all things, but he won't stand up. Exactly. He won't stand up and say a damn thing for the things that are going on out here, because he's part of the same system. You take a person they pick like, oh, well, Oprah made it, but she'll never talk about certain things because she's not successful. She's controlled. And look at a Tyler Perry, an entertainer, a talk show host, a media mogul, a mega preacher. They got there because of the permission to be there, but they distract the masses, and they keep their mouth shut. They will never talk about these Jews that are here that are running this thing, these missing kids, the satanic rituals that they do, and we're the only people who are marching, talking about religion. Our neighborhoods are full with churches. We talk about religion, but we have no change. The Asians they're not marching to anybody. They come to America and don't give a damn about America, because they know that America does not exist. This is a global thing. It's a system of white supremacy. And now what people don't understand is that these other races are given the pass now. They're getting the white supremacy card. Their numbers are dwindling. Exactly. Right. And they're told so not to help niggas when they come here. Stay away from helping them, but you can go in their neighborhoods, and our numbers are diminishing, and we're going to give you full freedom to look at the streets like they have gold and silver in them, but the streets that are lined with gold of the black neighborhoods, they're sucking the money out of. They tell you how poor the black neighborhoods are, but who's in here making money? Asians, Koreans, Japanese, Chinese, the Indians, everybody's making money, but we can't make money in our own neighborhoods, and we're to blame for it too. So to come back to the whole thing about America, I can't even identify with America because we're so tangled up in sort of mess that they put us in mentally. You see what I mean? So for me, my plan, Joe Neckbone.
All right, this is Jack here. I finally wanted to say something because
yes, my brother,
I hear what you brothers are saying. It's wonderful, and I'm not trying to take anything away from it, but I would like to interject something. The newest nation in the world is the Republic of South Sudan, founded on July 1st, 2016. The Republic of South Sudan has become the world's newest nation by officially breaking away from Sudan after 2 civil wars and over 5 decades of conflict with the North. Hey, when you got time, look up the Republic of South Sudan. Other than that, wonderful conversation, and I really appreciate it.
Definitely, man. But yeah, like I said, for us, we're on the front lines of a war, but we don't get the benefits here. The families who are are chosen, and then that hierarchy higher up, they never get on the front lines. We're fighting for their corporate benefits. Their corporate benefits to keep their kids living, but the system never changes. We're down and they're up. And some of us make it, but the masses don't. And the masses won't. Nothing has changed. The same thing that Marvin Gaye was singing about in the late 60s and early 70s, what's going on and all this stuff, is the same things that we're singing about. But other people have come here to this country and nursed themselves to financial freedom and excellence and sent money back to their country and live here good off of our backs who are here who built this thing. But a lot of
if nothing else, that's the one thing I find annoying. And I like to straighten certain people out about it. I mean, yes, I get that people able to come here and and get rich and all that kind of stuff. But I don't like the disrespect that American black folks get by people who come from other places. How come you couldn't get? Man, that's a whole other thing I'm not even going to get into. But I'll say this.
Look, say it. We got time. This is interesting. I love it.
No, the one thing I wanted to say was, almost all of us are fighting over crumbs. What is it? 3% of all the riches on earth? Only a handful of people have them? That means everybody else is fighting over some little crumbs. And I think, to me, racism and all that kind of stuff is just a distraction from not paying attention to what's really going on, which is that handful of people, that handful of trillionaires, they got all the money in the world, and everybody else got to fight the little crumbs that they got left. To me, that's the thing that's most
the system of white supremacy. It's a system. It's in the system. And for those of us who are fighting over the crumbs, I'm going to say it this way, we are damn fools. We need to pull away from this system. We honor this system too much like it's something to aspire to. Many people, and we need money to live, don't get me wrong. We got to get up and work and we got to get food and whatever. But to me, it's to run the opposite way. To hell with the system. To hell with what they put and tell us that we need to do. Be good little boys and get high marks in school and do this and do this and do that. You go to school all of these years and come out without anything knowing how to do what you need to do for yourself. Why can't, that's why my brother-in-law inspires me so much. He's well-to-do, but you would never know it, but he works hard and he does his own thing. And he's traveled the world. He's traveled in countries that I even know the name of. So he knows, right? So he's inspired me in a certain way, but I already know these things, but it's activated something in my mind. And I love this physical place called the United States for what it means to me in my personal life, but there's also lessons in it. I don't love it when a person tries to put it on me that this is the place. This is not the best place in the world to live. Racism is all over the world. It's in South America.
Oh, it definitely is. Cause
yeah.
You heard about what they do to black folks in China? Which is in China, they push you to the side.
Yeah, no. I do a lot of talk shows on these very things, so we know. And most of the listeners who are listening to this, they know. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is that why do we honor and run up behind these people when they don't think of us as anything? They don't think of us as anything. There are some who are nice, but there was a speaker one time, a white woman, I forgot her name, and she was giving a lecture on racism and white supremacy. And it was a predominantly, overwhelmingly amount of white people there. And so she asked the crowd, how many of you are racist? And nobody put their hand up. I said, okay, I can believe that, no problem.
I saw that on YouTube. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I saw that.
How many of you
Jane Elliott.
Your privilege. Yeah, how many of you would trade your privilege for? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna open up the line. Let me open up the conference real quick because there's somebody who wants to call in. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna open it up. Hold on. If you're listening, okay, and also you gotta go. If you're listening, let me just say
Conference unlocked.
The conference is unlocked. It's open. So call in, Billy. And also the YouTube chat room, I disabled it. You're going to have to go into the actual site, Lancescurv.com, and it's right there on the front, Lancescurv.com /live stream. Or you just go to Lancescurv.com, and right under my image, there's a live stream tab. Well, no, a little bit to the side. There's a live stream tab. Click that tab. It will bring you to the YouTube show in the modified chat room that I purchased now. And it's customized, and it's much better. You can talk private to everybody. So let me know when you come in, or I'll see you on the app, because I'm out in the backyard chilling, and we're hanging out back here. But anyway, let me get back to that. Look, it goes deep. There's a brother that I'd like for you all to listen to, Keith Newsom, he breaks it all down, and he says some incredible things that you never thought of that sound like science fiction, but are facts, and he breaks it down logically. We're throwing an event here in Orlando, Florida, on the 15th of September at the Three Mask Cultural Center. It's going to be free. It's going to be a lot of unlimited food. We're going to have some speakers there. It's going to be something good. We're putting the boots to the ground to influence people to wake the daggone hell up. The flyers for that will come this week. I should be making them tomorrow to put out all over the line and print them up and put them in the street and barbershops and stuff like that. Most of us are not going to make it because we can't get our mind out of the Stockholm syndrome that in the back of our mind, you know, the white man is going to turn around. When I say the white man, I mean the system of white supremacy. But I'm not looking for the good white people. We got the cross threads on us. I don't have time with the way we're being dropped, with the way that the chemicals are being put in our food, and the way we're getting turned out, emasculated, to sit here and say, while the bullets are coming, well, there's a good white one over there. If you're good, step up and do what you need to do. If not, I understand. You don't want to give up your white privilege. Just like those people in the audience who, when a woman said, you know, well, would you give up your white privilege and be treated like a black person? Something to that effect. And nobody said anything. She said it again, but they understand now. So they're always going to litter your mind with these little, this person called me and they go, and this isn't. We know that by now. We all of us here on this line that are talking as males, you know, that grew up together, we're all over 50 years old. It's not going to change. I'm not going to sit here and hope to get that hug from that white person and say, you know what, I've been doing wrong. No, I'm not looking for that. I'm not even mad anymore. Let me get the hell up out of here. Let me get away from the system where I don't lust after their cars anymore. I don't lust after their houses. I don't lust after any of those things. Technically, very soon I'll be living very free, and there'll be nothing required of me, nothing over my head. That matrix I don't want to go to. I love New York City for what it was to me and for the people that are there. And I'm going to come up there and visit you all. We're going to have a good time. But New York doesn't.
Yeah, what it was is the operative word. Yeah, what it was.
Exactly. Yeah. What it was, the memories, and that's what's alive for me. Right now I'm in New York City because I'm talking to you guys. But the actual dead structures, it's like going and expecting a hug from somebody who's in the grave. It's dead. It's not going to happen no more, right? So it's that system that goes against us where we've got to pull out and make our own system, but we're so screwed up in the head from the way we've been treated, we think of each other as inferior. I'm not saying any of us here on the line. So until we really meditate and detoxify all of it, but it's like a malignant tumor. See, a benign tumor grows on its own. A malignant tumor spreads. So if you take out 99.9% of a malignant tumor and leave that 0.1%, it's going to continue to grow. So we're going to have to watch some of our brothers and sisters perish by never having this situation change, never living free, always having the gun to their head where they have to go out and make money under somebody else's hierarchy, hoping for a job, a promotion or a job, and you're working and you're working and you're working. No, I'm not working no more soon. I'm not working no more soon, and I'm going to live better than I ever did. I figured this thing out. I said it back in 2013, and the plan is in effect, and I'm going to show the world. You know what I mean? And I'm going to live free. So let them keep their paper money that's soon to crash. We did a show with Brother Dave. I'm going to go to Miami next weekend, and we're going to speak with him. We're going to do some live streams from down there because that's the first time I'm meeting him. He's a former LAPD officer. He sells precious metals right now. This HR 5404. Google that. And we did a show on that, and he breaks it down better. They're going to use gold to back the U.S. dollar again. And everybody's jumping around like it means something. It means nothing. Because now when it comes to your assets, they can control what it's worth. And everything will crash. It's not a doomsayer thing. This is written. They're not going to say that they're going to crash everything. But you can see what's happening. And if you listen to him,
it's going to be
it's clear as day.
Another recession. Like another recession again. But even worse.
Well, every time, recession. Well, every time we have a Republican president,
No. There's a depression coming. It can't go any other way. I mean, a straight depression where people are going to be jumping out windows and dying, and then now the way and Brother Kojo, you heard how Brother Dave broke it down, correct?
Yeah, I was there. I heard it. It's true. I see it coming.
Right. I mean, this man is very knowledgeable in all things financial. I'm not, but he broke it down in simple terms, and you know, he used facts. It wasn't just some conspiracy theory type stuff, because this guy, he runs his business off of this. And it's not like, well, I have to scare people to get precious metals from me. No. But he's breaking it down. He's very concerned. He's very concerned with the people he loves that are following a system that's soon to fall. And you know what? This is a very good time for those of us who think out of the matrix. This is a very good time. But we have to pull out of the system whatever little value of anything you have now. Pull it out of the system, and don't depend on it. Don't wait for it. Look at our quality of life. There's another guy. There's a white guy that I want to call, and he's really good with statistics and stuff. And that was his thing back in the late 70s. As an older guy I'm in a bus, and he's blackballed from corporate America. He broke it down to me. And this was back in 2014, but it's even worse now. He basically said that the 2014 dollar was only 13 cents of the 1973 dollar. This is why most of us now, if you can remember, and I know you all can remember, when you took $50 to the supermarket, man, you walked out of it with 2 carts of food back in the early 70s. Take $50 there now. You take $50 and 5 kids to McDonald's and want to fill them up, you damn near spent the $50. What does it take to get that many groceries now? Why are people working
2 movie tickets
now? Exactly. Yeah. I mean, just everything. You see what I mean? So for those 3% that you said, AB, they rocking and rolling because they control and manipulate that. It's the people on the bottom. It's like getting hired at a company that they say, well, you know, if you work hard, you can do just like me and get to the top. And they will have that token black person who made it near the top as an example, like the carrot dangling in front of the rabbit's face when he's running on the treadmill and never getting anywhere, right? So how are you going to have all these people on the bottom of a pyramid, which has one point at the top, and they're all fighting hard to get to the top? And in doing so, some are getting fired, some are quitting, some are defeated and just treading water and settling for less. They know the odds are stacked against you. But we don't have, and I'm not saying anybody here, but those of us out here, we don't have the confidence in ourselves. Look at what Carlos said earlier. You know, he went away and did some time and came out in the same, I'm going to say it this way, the same niggas was standing on the corner. You see what I mean? Standing on the corner doing nothing and complaining about not getting no work. And they selling dope. You selling dope and you can't get a car. You still living in your mama's basement. Come on. You know what I mean? He does all this time, comes out and gets right on the job, and he's holding it down.
But that's the thing, you know, like now, you know, man, it's a different world. That's why I say it's greed like I ain't never seen before, man. I mean, just open greed, just like, fuck it, I'm just taking it all.
Too much stuff on my own line. I got cut off.
I was just saying, man, you know, this is a period of greed. Like it's just nuts, man. I mean, you got a president that pretty much is Gordon Gekko, man. He's like, greed is good. You know, I never thought I would see a day where a president was just like, you know, just so brazen and open about greed and classism, and then folks are celebrating that shit, man. Like, it's okay. You know, like, yeah, we always was like that. What, huh? You know, come on.
Angelo's
man,
phone
you know?
died. That's right. Yeah, Angelo's phone died. He won't be on, but he said his phone, you got to charge it up. So I'm here.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just saying, though, man, you know, I never thought I'd see the day, you know, where folks are just, like, beating their chest proud, you know, to be greedy.
Yeah, but see, the people who are in the know, who have the money, I mean, real money. We're not talking like, not even upper class. Upper class right. People, I'm talking about that filthy rich, so-called upper class. There are people I know here in Windermere and Lake Mary and stuff. They don't even have. They have as far as what people say, oh, man, you got this. They have debts. They might have cash flow on $1 that's soon to mean nothing. Look, the bottom line is, how much land do you have to grow your food? Because when the supermarkets have no food, all this stuff is about control. They want to bring everybody. Look at the bigger cities across the country. They claim they have no money, but everybody's building up their infrastructure as far as the highways and all this. But Orlando is on a boom that I don't think any other place in the country is going through right now. Orlando is the #1 destination for people to migrate to. 7 of the top 10 places in the country to come down to are Florida. Seems like every other plate that you see is a New York and Detroit, Chicago license plate down here. And when things hit the fan, it's easy to control the masses. They want us to kill each other off. There was no room for housing up here before Hurricane Maria. And I'm not knocking Puerto Ricans per se, but, you know, it is what it is. All the Puerto Ricans that came here to Central Florida, totaling a number of 189,000 in 2 separate occasions close together, adding up to, we're not talking about the ones who went to New York, but here in Central Florida, 189,000. There was already no homes. This is going to be, and I'm telling you, this is going to be the hottest summer Orlando has ever seen, Central Florida has ever seen, because there's a lot of folks out here now, their benefits are gone. The hotels they were staying in, if they don't want to go back to Puerto Rico and they're staying here, well, you on your own. There are people already living here who are homeless. There's a huge homeless population here. Huge. We're talking, how much they say? Almost 200,000? And do you know why? It's easy to be homeless down here. It's easy. You know how many people I drop off from the bus and they walk out in the woods? They make the makeshift tents and take the drop cloth and build something. And I talk to these people, and some of them hold down jobs. Some of them hold down jobs and sleep in the street because they can't afford everything. And they'll tell you, Orlando is getting very expensive. You see what I mean?
Yeah, AB was just talking about that. People sleeping in their car that got jobs, man.
Exactly. So, I mean, I'm good.
Crazy.
I'm good, but I'm getting out of it ahead of time. And I have a very concrete plan. I'm not going to put it out over the thing, but I'm all right. But I'm seeing it happen, and it's bugging me out that people are not seeing it. And just imagine now, I got a pension coming from my job, but I can't depend on that because the money may go so bad. The thing is that pensions may not be paid. Could you imagine that? But your mortgage is still going to have to be paid, or your taxes are going to have to be paid. Your utilities, your food, you can't get away from it here under this hierarchy. No. So now you may have a lot of money, and this is why these people always have another place to go, because they know it's going to be mayhem. You know, if you don't eat for 3 days, and I have $1,000 in one hand and a bag of a Burger King, you know, McDonald's something, what you going to snatch out my hand first? Especially when you know the money's not worth anything. You see what I mean? So my thing is to get away from the control, get away from the place. You know, any major anything with a lot of people, they're going to become your enemy because they're going to take what you got. Dawn of the Dead all over again. Your loved ones, you take them with you, or if they are somewhere else, and, you know, I got the hook up, you know, everybody on here on my line, you come with me. You know what I mean?
That's cool, and I'm glad to know that. What I want to say is that what the part of the conversation that's not being really discussed about is the fact that America is actually at this point in time, and I watch a lot of documentaries and stuff. I look at this. What they're doing is they're taking a lot of foreign money into the country. So like the rich of China, the rich of the Middle East, the rich of Europe, you know, they're all investing into this country. And that's why they're building like $3 million condos, you know, big houses, things of that nature, because they're not building them for people locally. You know, they're not building them for you. They're building for the rich people who are going to vacation here in America. And so they're getting rid of the people who are here currently, which is why they're killing you in the street, you know, so blatantly on top of that. And they're making room for the rich from all over the world, because that's really where it's going, is rich people from all over the world are going to come take everything over. Especially in these companies. In these companies, you know, they're taking a lot of investment from Chinese companies. They're taking a lot of investments from Japanese companies and Korean companies. You know, there was an article about a farmer who took a major investment from Honda to build tractors. And he's supposed to be an American company, but yet, you know, he needs money from Honda to run his operation for farm equipment. You know, there's a lot of money switching going on. That's all I have to say.
And you're right. And with the whole globalization mentality, you know, those of us who, like Joe Neckbone said, this ghost. Many of us see it as it was, and we're hoping for it to come back, and it's never going to come back. We don't understand how the passage of time has taken over. I am 55 years old. 55. Doesn't mean I'm not enjoying life. Doesn't mean I'm scared. I'm going to live a long life, and I've lived a long life, and I'm happy with what I've had so far. And I know how to navigate the next few years. I'm cool that way. But look how fast it's gone. If we are halfway through our lives, that means we're going to live to 110. Hopefully I can make it. Might not be able to work too good between my legs, but I'm just saying I'll be glad to be here. You know what I mean? That's not important. My thing is quality of life, the real thing. That feeling that you have when you have to get up and go to work and you don't want to go. That feeling that you have that you're visiting home more, that you're at your job more, that you're not connected. Think of how you felt when you were a child. Many of us have had wonderful childhoods, have little issues here and there, but just think that even if you didn't have a wonderful thing, that innate sense of connectiveness to yourself and the world around you, and the feeling that there was hope. You see what I mean? That you may have gone through some messed up things, but at least tomorrow could be a better day. Now we trudge along. I'm not saying anybody here in the line, but we trudge along like, okay, whatever. That's because this thing is not feeding you. I remember in school, I used to shoot my hand up fast than anybody else to want to answer the question, because I wanted to look good and I knew the answer. I wanted to prove that in this system, I didn't think of it as a system at that time, but I wanted to prove that, I'm going to make it. I'm going to be good. And I'm going to go to school. What did it add up to? Nothing. It taught you how to be a better worker. It taught you how to be a better consumer. Look at black people right now. We're consumers. We're big consumers. We have $1 trillion to spend, and everybody else is getting it. The question, because I wanted to look good, and I knew the answer. I wanted to prove it in the system.
It's like playing you in the background.
Somebody got a computer on in the back. They need to cut their computer off, because I'm like, wait a second. I'm hearing myself. So if you got your computer or tablet in the background, just mute yourself. You know what I mean? But yeah, we're taught, we're trained to be that. And yes, there are successful people, but you got to get it independently. Or if you work a job, you got to know that job don't love you. That hierarchy is going to continue on. I'm a daggone bus driver down here to get my pennies, right? But I'm not a bus driver. I'm bigger than that. You understand? And if I don't show up to work one day, that same bus that I drove all these years, that same bus route is going to continue to move on. If I drop dead right now, that bus route is going to move on. And that's what America's going to do in the system that serves other people. And we fall right into the trap because we like the little shiny things. We like the trinkets and the baubles and the rubies that they throw down at us. And we fight over them like piranha over meat or like pigeons over bread. You see what I mean? So what do we do?
But I guess the question becomes then, what is success? Because we were told as kids, you work at a job, you get your gold watch at the end, and that's success. I mean, we all were sold some piece or form of that dream, But as I get older, the more I realize, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, earlier, you were told to color in the lines, follow all the rules, and there's this big payoff at the end. You retire, you get a gold watch, and then you can do whatever you want to do and go fishing in Florida. But the older I get and the closer I get to that end, I realize that was all bullshit. The journey is the reward. It's the shit that you do on that way to that end, that makes it all worthwhile. And so, while, somebody may drive your route, if you don't show up to work, then, there's another guy sitting in that spot, just going through the motions too. At the end of the day, you have the Lancescurv show. If you ain't on the Lancescurv show, there ain't no Lancescurv show. So that's the shit, that you have to celebrate. The fact that you broke away from looking at, driving that bus every day, or me, punching that clock every day as success. Success is the shit you do around all of that other stuff,
Of course. It's the things in between.
Yeah.
It's like, one of the most rewarding things for me right now, like just presently right now, I'll put it out there, I've been getting more heavily into my artwork, and to be appreciated for it, to actually, have a person send me money ahead of time that I never met face to face, substantial amount ahead of time. To me, exactly, to say, man, you're the man to do these book covers for me, and I honor you. The money's coming to you in the mail, certified check, bank check, whatever, and he trusts me. Yeah, and your own invoices and stuff. And so that's the direction I'm going to move into for the money part when I leave, right? and to be respected that way. Doing the stuff on the show is fine. You know, I got into doing that to offset the government intervention of watching what I was saying when I was blogging and writing, even before YouTube and the shows. I wanted to show how human I really am. I wasn't scared, but I said, okay, if you come after me, I'm raising the stakes. So now, you know, the popularity is there, the people are coming in, but I'm going to always do this, but I want to pull it back to, you know, for the world is my customer. I want to be able to charge whatever it is I charge because my work is unique and it's one of a kind and hand done and original. And so I'll be able to write my own check, but I won't need it. I want to live like I don't need it. First of all, I don't want it. I don't want what most people say is that success, but you're right, Joe Neckbone, is what you do in between. Because look at it this way, and this is what I bring it down to. You know, many people that we've known passed away. You know, my old girlfriend Donna died last year, and I'm still trying to figure out how. Right? So So look at how full of life she was, and whether I don't know how what happened. We all have to go, but you look at it. You know, she was in her middle 50s. You know, she was a few months younger than me, so we don't know. My thing is that if you have the luxury of a deathbed, what they call a deathbed, and most might not. Like Aretha Franklin, she had the luxury of a deathbed for people to come around that she knows and, say they're so long, goodbyes, whatever, and reminisce, and she can laugh and talk with them, and she knew it was happening. They knew it was happening, but what a smooth landing. And for me, she passed at 76 years old. Another person might be 110. Another person might be 22. But if you have the luxury of a deathbed and people to come to that deathbed who love you and hold your hand and talk about the memories, it's not about how big your rims were, how much of a house you had, a car, or how much money you had in the bank. Because there are people who have those things, and they don't have that camaraderie. Look at the conversation we had impromptu. When you woke up this morning, you didn't know we'd all be talking. That's how beautiful it is. And, you know, AB didn't know. I hit Carlos up. I said, man, we got a good show. Come on. You know what I mean? It's those spontaneous moments that we had growing up that we can leverage electronically to utilize the technology now that we're back on the corner right now, the good corner, not the bad corner, but the good corner, and vibing with each other. That's success. So we've had our individual successes of avoiding the minefields and the pitfalls and dodging the bullets, and we're still here in the game. You know, I love boxing. As long as two people are standing, no matter how far behind on points you are, if I can knock you out, 20 seconds to get it done, get you down and get the 10 count, or 3 knockdowns, if the 3 knockdown rule is in effect, I'm going to win. So I still feel I'm in the game. I look the same. I can talk the same as in the past, but I'm much different. You know, oh, wow. I'm getting some wonderful text messages here. But, you know, it's the direction. And so for me, there's a tremendous weight lifted off of me when I realize what this game is really all about. You know what I mean? And I feel successful right now. And I got to get my behind out of here in a couple of days to go out to work. But I'm leaving this thing. And I have it in its frame, in its little box. And I know what it is. And what I want is those moments like this. You know, and it won't take much for me to live, because a lot of gifts have come my way, a lot of miracles have come my way, and I know how to utilize them. So I'm in it, but it's like when you drive and you take your foot off the gas and stuff to slow down. Say it again?
No, I was going to say, you know, I find that we need less now than when we were kids.
Oh yeah, no, exactly.
You need much less, yeah.
Right. I mean, I want to live where really I don't need to die to live. Matter of fact, I'll make money just being. If the plants grow, I'm going to make money. If the coffee grows, I'm going to make money. If the medical marijuana grows, I'm going to make money. You know what I mean? Just from being in position, because you're out of this system. Because the bottom line is, you know, if you play it the way they say it, you're never going to win. You'll be old and saying, damn, I wish I would have did different, if your mind is still hooked into that. But when you pull yourself away and realize, you know, we all think we're going to conquer the world, do this, we got to conquer our world, not that fake world that they put up as a target. We're all dealt a deck of cards in this lifetime. And we got to figure out what those cards are so we can play those cards to our best advantage. Because that boss and this hierarchy, this system, they want to make it seem like you said, if you color within the lines and you do everything that they say, that everything's going to be all right. No, it's going to be all right for them. But it doesn't mean it's going to be all right for you. You on your own. You on your own, you don't realize it. if they pay you X amount of money to work in their company, no matter what it is, even if it seems like it's good money, you know, they'll say, oh, I'll give you $100 an hour. Well, if they're giving you $100 an hour and they're over you, what are they really getting out of you? You understand? They're probably getting $20,000 an hour out of you and throwing you $100. You get ripped off. I'd rather go in the open market because I'm crazy like that. Look, you know I'm the dude who drove the dollar van. Come on now. Tell that Joe Neckbone. Tell the people. You know, I left Home Depot. Tell them. I went in the street.
I'm so extraordinary. Yeah. And you know, it's so funny because you know, because I'm going that route now, man. Like a lot of folks, you know, will say, why I work at Home Depot. I say, because I have a house, right? I own a home, and I want to know how stuff works. You know, I mean, it's easy to just pay somebody, you know, and have them do it, but I want to know, you know, because at some point or another, man, if I decide to break away from the system like you, I want to know how to put plumbing in place. I want to know how to put electrical in place. I want to know how to put a roof over my head. I want to know how to do, you know, cement work and all that because I'll have to do it myself. You know,
and you save
I've
money.
made a lot of money. You know, yeah. You know, I've made money, man. You know, I've had a good run. But shit, man, I didn't know anything about electrical or plumbing or anything like that. Now I do. I know a lot now, you know, and I'm loving it.
But it's empowering to know that because it gives you the confidence. It's just that, you know, why have they taken out home economics out of the classroom, out of the schools? You know, because they want us stupid. You know, and the thing is, as black people, why do we see the guy who may be the so-called unemployed plumber, who is not a crackhead now, who doesn't have any problems, he's excellent. We don't hire him directly, but we go ahead when he works at the white man's company with a big glossy van and a nice uniform on. Now we hire him because we don't see him as him, we see him as that company. You see what I mean? So black folks have got to rewire themselves because they hate on each other more than anything else. Like they said with Chris Rock, you got black folks, you got niggas. Carlos said it. You got black folks, you got niggas. There's too many affluent boule-style niggas out here who are still looking to honor and uphold a system that threw them a few crumbs, but they have no damn balls to go out on their own and do what they do. Even Judge Joe Brown, who made it big here in this hierarchy, he told it like it was, and he's not even suffering because he's still doing very well. Still millions and millions of dollars he has, but he tells it like it is. But they're not going to bring him on any talk show to talk and tell the truth. And I couldn't believe he followed me on Twitter. That's how we got to become friends. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Hey, did I tell you the story about this soil?
Yeah. You told me about the soil. Ain't there something?
Yeah. That's that got me into learning how gardening works, man.
Exactly, and that's the precursor to farming, and that's a beautiful thing. And why don't we know how to farm? Why don't we go and look after and get some land? Why are black people looking to just get this big car and be stuck up in somebody's condo paying for airspace? You're not even owning the structure. You're paying for the airspace on the inside. Buy land. Land is a limited commodity. You can shelter yourself on that land. You can grow your food on that land. But here, the way they have it here with eminent domain and raising up taxes and stuff like that, and how they spray things over. My thing is get some land somewhere else and go somewhere else. Because let's see, that's. And I went to where my father was born and raised, right into the very area. And it is a country that there's a lot of propaganda going on, just like with South Africa, because the Chinese, you can't keep their asses out of there. And they're going there and they're exploiting a lot of things going on because a lot of the Jamaicans out there are so caught up in this American mentality, this American look, and they're being tricked to come into the bigger cities and leave their land and act like farming is something corny that you don't do. But they'll be stuck to buy out of supermarkets and paying for food that grew free. And when you have family land, ain't no taxes that come take you off of it. You got to pay some taxes, but it's pennies on a dollar. I could pay up the taxes for my next 5 lifetimes. They won't bother you. And that's living. And you come into the town to make your money from the tourists. But the Chinese and these big developers that are of other races, white folks, a lot of white folks got land down there. They're buying up the coastline. Beaches won't be free if they had their way because it's a world destination, but a lot of people, they don't realize that. A lot of people are fighting over the crumbs down there. because they're intoxicated with their hair being a certain way and having their nails done and getting this kind of car, and I want to be a man, I want to be successful. Success is being able to not be exploited by another man or another system, and to move freely and do what you need to do and to do what you want to do freely. You got to call a man. I'm not saying you, but me too, right? We got to call somebody and say,
I got a question.
Can I have the day off or call in sick? Or can I have the vacation? No, I want to do what just like today I'm off. I did what I wanted to do. I didn't know I was going to do all these shows, but I wanted to do them. I got up and walked. I got up in the wee hours and recorded something for an hour and 14 minutes because I wanted to. That's the kind of life I want to go back to live. Like when we were kids, we heard about mortgages. We knew about it because our parents said those things. We didn't know nothing about no mortgage. We just did what we wanted to do. But our circle was small. I want to go back to that. If you die, which is unfortunate, we all must transition, and some of us will. But if you die not knowing this truth, if you die not striving for that truth, you've lived the life of a slave. You see, a well-paid slave. Go ahead, Jack, what you were saying?
Right, so I got a question for you. Do you think black women played a large part in this?
In this what? Like how? Like making it bad?
In the exploitation of black people, the fact that they gave them all the money, and then, usually they brag to you about their college degree, or they talk about what they own and what you don't own.
Yeah, because they got hit by the spores. Like the Star Trek episode where, even Mr. Spock got some pussy down on that planet and got hit by the spores. He's laughing and, whatever. You got to understand, those people who have that mentality, or sisters who have that mentality, they fell for the okie doke and they're brainwashed and they got caught up. I won't blame them. It's the system that got them that way. So you have to look past that. It's like you step on a dog that you love and you feed and he cuddles up with you, but you step on his nuts and he bites you. You step on his nuts in the middle of the night. You didn't know he's there. He bites you. You got to understand that bite wasn't out of hate. It's because he was feeling some kind of pain. And
but they're harming
us. Yeah. Let me just say this real quick because, Lance knew me when I was working down on Wall Street and wearing suits and shit like that. It's easy to get caught up in that life. It's really easy, right? And it's seductive because they build a fake world around you. They throw money at you and accolades. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you, right? The first time I got a bonus of $10,000, I was like, damn, I'm loving this. I was sucking in, man. I mean, imagine that. You working, and all of a sudden somebody says to you, we had a good year, you did good, here's $10,000 extra on top of what you make, cash money, boom, right in your hand. So it's easy to get sucked into those kinds of lives and lifestyles. But that stuff has a time limit and it has a ceiling. And when you either hit that time limit or ceiling or both, then you realize what a sucker's game it is. It's that they throw shiny things at you, to distract you from the fact that, you are buying into that world, but you still live in this world with us, black people. And so, you have to have a balance. If you're going to live in that life, you have to have a balance of both. And I was lucky in that I had friends that gave me that balance. But, a lot of people don't have that. They get totally sucked into that world and spit out the other side, and they find themselves, trying to reconnect with it. Like, classic example, Omarosa. Now that she had a nigga moment, she's trying to reconnect with the black community, talking about racism. Well, where was you? Where was you when people, when your people were telling you, this shit's gonna happen to you? Where was you? You didn't listen to them, but now you got spit out the other side. Now you on the black side. They close the door for you, and now you want to reconnect with your people? Nah. So there's a whole lot of brothers and sisters, man, that just don't have good friends that'll bring them down to earth and say, you know what, I don't care if you make $150,000 a year, you still ain't shit. You still ain't getting no ass. You still, you're still corny, and will ground you in the reality of the fact that you're black. You ain't going to change that. You are in America. You're always going to be treated as a black person in America. Because I'm going to tell you right now, even working on Wall Street, making a whole lot of money, I go out to Mississippi, I'm a nigga. They don't care, where you work. They don't care that you wear a suit every day. You a nigga. And, when the cops swoop down on you or when racism rears its ugly head, they don't give two shits about that. And that's, a really, real grounding experience. So I'm just saying, a lot of sisters and brothers, will have to have their wake-up moment. But once it comes, they'll be all right.
Well said, well said. You know, and the thing is, look at this system. Before you get your money, what happens? You get taxed. You go to the supermarket. What happens again on the same money? You get taxed. There's always a markup. By the time you get what you get, and remember, the bonuses you got, they gave you that because those are the crumbs off of what they got out of you. You know what I mean? And
absolutely.
They control that. And so for me, like I said, to rid myself of that anxiousness of I've got to make it, I've got to push, and somebody else is benefiting from that, I'm not going to do it. I'd rather make less, and get it directly. You know,
right?
My dear sister here with me, she does some beautiful, beautiful work, and she's independent. And yes, when you go independent, there's times when things are a little lean, and there's times when things are good. But you control your ship, you guide your ship, and there's a reward in that because you can speak as a man or a woman, totally independent, because you can tell people what to kiss, and you have your dignity. But see, on these jobs, many keep us in fear. Whether it's a bus driver job, a corporate job, there's a fear in the back of your mind that if I lose this, I won't be able to maintain what I have as far as my lifestyle. But you've always been a smart guy, Joe Neckbone. You've never bought the okie doke to want to buy up all these different things. You've done your investments and stuff like that, but many people are not going to do that.
No, I
don't worry about
you just didn't see it.
Right.
Yeah. Man, look, I'll tell you like this, man. I've been blessed to have good friends, that'll check me when I need checking, because you've done that in the past, and I appreciate it, love you for it, that'll bring me down to earth. And also, like I said, being back here in the neighborhood, man, the neighborhood itself brings you down to earth, because you see, the ghosts of people and things. You could have gone that way, I look at these dudes, I could have gone that way, just a simple decision one way or the other sent me in another direction, man, completely. But, you guys were great because y'all didn't smoke, y'all didn't drink, y'all, there's a whole lot of things like hanging with y'all that I avoided and escaped, man. Even Carlos, man, he don't get high, So, hanging with you guys, we did our share of stuff, but we weren't, we didn't go down the path a lot of other brothers do. We weren't, doing criminal behavior, and I'm like, we just hanging out having a good time. And it was.
I'm smoking crack right now.
Yeah, and also on top of that, when you mentioned all taxes, there's also the 60% inheritance tax, which I think is just really criminal, because after someone dies, they take 60% of everything you inherit.
So you convert the property to your children's ownership before you die.
Mm-hmm. Just like
have their name on it in some way.
Yeah, just like I tell brothers all the time, if you know you're gonna die, get married, right? And they go like, why? I said, because if you don't get married, your Social Security goes right back to the government. At least if you're married, you're giving it to another black person. I will marry, some woman out there before I go, and I hope she spends my money on some young dude.
Or take guardianship of somebody's child.
Right. Let somebody have that money that I work hard for my whole life that I won't use in the afterlife. Hell, I'll tell a woman, go ahead, get you a young plaything and have a good time. Take a trip around the world. Enjoy yourself. What am I going to do? I'm dead. So, use it to your benefit, or at least to try and build a legacy for somebody else. Why not?
That's what they do.
Right. Right.
That's exactly what they do. When it gets close to time for them, they fix all their assets so that everything can pass down in such a way where the government doesn't get anything.
Right, but see, niggas is not gonna do that. Niggas is hard headed. And
but I don't deal with niggas, man.
But I'm just saying.
Okay.
But in reality, everybody's gonna be fighting over who gets what, and it ends up being a big mess because deaths bring the worst out in families, and I had to see this firsthand. Everybody started fighting over who gets what. Yeah, well, you think you don't until, the money.
No. I don't like using that term, pretty much, because, look, I'm black first, all right? And, those are all my people. I'm claiming them all, I don't want to get into segmenting and segregating, man. I'm claiming them all. There's some wayward brothers and sisters that have lost their way, I feel for them. I do my best to try and change, the direction that they're on to the ability that I can. But at the end of the day, man, I don't want to get into segmenting and separating. I just don't.
All right.
I'm guilty. I'm guilty of that from time to time. I'm not perfect. I'm human. But overall, man, these are still my people. My people. Good, bad, and indifferent. And I can only just like I said, try and move them in a proper direction to the best that I can. And I do it through writing. Lance will tell you I write. And so they'll wake up eventually. And when they wake up, hey, I got nothing but love for them.
Right, but see, my concern is that when they wake up, I'll be dead, and I don't want that to happen. So I feel like I got to separate myself from those people, dude. I'm sorry. I just got to agree to disagree.
Hey, I'm not mad at you, man. I mean, you got to do what you have to do for your world and the things that, that work for you. I just, over the years, I guess I'm just getting old, and I realize, like, man, I just don't have the luxury of separating and segmenting, my people like that. I find that it works in the favor of the system when I do that. But, that's my view on it. And it is totally subjective. So I got you, man. I ain't mad at you.
Yeah. So when you worked on Wall Street, I was, out of curiosity, what did you do, and like what was your ceiling on the salary? Out of curiosity, because I'm curious to know more about that.
I worked for a bond trading firm that is no longer in business, called Lebenthal, and I was a coder, a programmer. I wrote code for them. So the salaries were at that time, because this was the 90s. The salaries were outrageous. The money was damn good. But it was the benefits that really made a big difference, because you would get a lot of bonuses. There were a lot of parties. Man, look, I can't begin to tell you the decadent parties they used to have, back then, when the money was really flowing. It's kind of, an age of greed like that now, which is kind of crazy. But, it was good times, man. It was really good times. But, I was the only black person in my particular department, and I was very, very good at what I did. And so, doors open.